Well, our team coverage continues on the State of the State as we break down Governor Scott Walker's speech.
And our political analyst, Charles Franklin, joins us now. Marquette Law Professor Franklin, good to see you. Thanks for being with us once again. Initial thoughts of this speech tonight. Last night there was talk about the president in an election year. How about the governor maybe facing election? What were your thoughts politically looking at this?
I think there's a little bit of that. Certainly you saw him taking credit for things that he claims he's accomplished, the balancing the budget, no taxes, no layoffs. Those are themes we've heard for more than a year now, and they've been very consistent over that time. And I think there he's partly speaking to his base, the Republicans in the state who overwhelmingly approve of the job. That's not likely to convince the Democrats who overwhelmingly don't approve of his job. But I thought overall this was a speech of very limited ambitions. We heard about cutting government red tape and regulation reform. We heard about a waste, fraud, and abuse panel to try to save some money there. In the big things, I think he shifted in a little bit away from jobs and over to education, where the read to lead argument about why we should emphasize reading in schools was important, and the other was the school performance evaluations and applied to charter schools and others that receive state funds. But that's a small set of agendas compared to the massive agenda we saw last year.
Now, jobs have been a huge debate, and we talked about the ping pong effect, right? And he's been under fire for 6 months for losses. What do you think about his approach on this one and his request for small businesses to hire one person? What does that mean to the folks out there?
Well, it would be nice if all small businesses hired someone, but if in fact businesses make their decisions for business reasons, not because a governor asked them to hire, I'm not sure this one's going to have very much effect. The real issue here is we saw substantial job gains in the first half of the year, and then in the second 6 months we've given up the vast majority of those jobs we gained at the beginning. So when you're on this roller coaster, you don't know whether it's going to turn and head back up again or keep going down. So a little shift away from jobs and more emphasis on education maybe is politically a good thing to sort of shift the focus to a new agenda as well.
Now, a lot of people have been talking about a poll that came out today. Full disclosure, this is your poll that you conducted showing a favorability rating of 51% for the governor, 46%, I believe it was. There you see the numbers there, disapproving of the governor.
That's right.
What are your thoughts on this? I mean, any surprises here that you found?
This is a flip from where we were about in October when the latest polls were done, which were the other way around, 46 approve, 51 disapprove. But think about what's gone on in the interim. We've had a recall campaign that has energized a whole lot of Democrats to get signatures, but we've also had an advertising campaign with a tremendous ad buy from the governor arguing about how things have worked in the state. And Democrats haven't been running any counter-advertising. So for the part of the public that wasn't out gathering signatures and energized by that, they actually saw a lot of television messages about why it was working for the governor. So I think the odd thing is we see both sides of this debate energized and pointing to things that reinforce their attitudes over these last 2 or 3 months.
In other words, there is a middle, people who have a decision to make still out there in Wisconsin.
There are some people in the middle, and I think the most interesting thing was while the governor leads in the governor's race polling, President Obama leads on the presidential polling, the same poll, the same people.
All right. Very, very interesting stuff. Always good to see you. Thanks once again for joining us tonight, Professor Charles Franklin from Marquette.
Thank you, Professor.